It's good to know what you know, isn't it? Don't you feel the resonance of it all? Can't you feel the fullness of who you are? Don't you love leaving them all guilt-free? Don't you like leaving yourself guilt-free? Thank you. I feel exceptionally privileged to be sitting here. A good conversation is about to happen. Many years ago, I had a dream that I would win the lottery. You just won. I feel it, and I certainly would like it to happen immediately. Today, the jackpot is $93 million, and I would like it to happen today. The thing about it is, you can't get there from there. You cannot desire something you don't have and be a vibrational match for it. You have to be what you desire, and then you can have it. In other words, you have to feel a prosperity equivalent to your request. So, first of all, jackpot, what an interesting word. It implies big. 93 million is that. It implies rare. It implies unlikely. It usually doesn't feel like the next logical step. The grandiosity of it gives it away. In other words, if you said, "Universe, I could use more money," there is very little disagreement in that vibration. And if you offered that feeling frequently, until you came to expect it, so that your words naturally turned into, "Universe, I certainly could use more money. I certainly expect more money to flow to me," in that gentle expectation without resistance, more money would start flowing to you. But when you say, "Universe, I know there is this incredibly large pile of money, understood by almost no one, sitting there, and I would like it to come to my pile," the vibrational disagreement is so immense that you can notice it by the way you feel when you talk about it. Although you may occasionally step into the arena of hope, most of the time you don't expect it, even as you utter the words. And we have never known anyone who could force their words enough to make that vibrational leap. "Universe, you could make it all up to me. You could give me this prize and make everything okay." And we say, it doesn't work that way. You have to be chronically here, in the vibration of well-being. And when you are, the universe will say, "Well, here is a path. Well, here is a path. Well, here is a path." When you are in the vortex, this idea, this idea, this idea. It is not inconceivable. In fact, it is completely conceivable that, when you are in the vortex and feeling tuned in, connected, inspired, you might have the impulse to stop at the convenience store, and be inspired as to the timing of buying the ticket, and inspired to buy the ticket that is the lottery winner. But you have to be in the vortex to do that, and you don't do it suddenly. You have to enter the vortex. The vortex has to be familiar to you. What is so interesting about this is, you tune into the frequency of the vortex and you don't say, "I want to win the prize." You say, "Money is flowing to me in abundance. It comes in as fast as it can go out. I have no need for money, money is flowing in. It's like air. I breathe it in and I breathe it out, and I breathe it in and I breathe it out. It just comes to me naturally, you see. You have to get into the vortex, and then the vortex gives you everything you need to figure out what to do as you go along. Do you believe in the validity of this vortex? Absolutely. Do you believe that you were and are source energy, even while in this physical body? I do. Do you believe that, as you lived this life, you made a very powerful claim to a true fortune? I do. And do you believe it is lined up for you, that it's there with your name on it, that it's already assigned to your bank account, that it's there for you and no one can take it away from you? I do. Do you believe there is no risk at all in this money that has been accumulated for you? Do you believe it is there risk-free? I do. And do you understand what the requirement is for you to claim your fortune? No. Well, you're almost there, because everything you said yes to means you are claiming it. In other words, you know you put it there, and you know it's there for you, and you know the source within you is taking care of it, and you know this is a vibrational universe, and you know you are a vibrational being, and you know you can find the vibration of it, and you know the law of attraction never fails. You know the law of attraction will give you exactly what you are asking for, and you know it is lined up for you, and you know you have to be a cooperative component to it. In other words, all you have to do is get into the vortex. That is the requirement. You have to get in there, know it's there, and frequent that place often. You have to practice the feeling of prosperity, even if the dollars in your current bank account may not reflect the 94 million that is on its way. You have to make the emotional journey before you even make the financial journey. That is the thing most people have a very hard time doing, because most people let their vibration be completely in response to the life they are observing. And that's the part you have to work on. Exactly, that's the tricky part. So, you simply start changing your dialogue. You make peace with where you are. You make peace with the life you live that gave you the means to desire this kind of money. In other words, you've lived a lot of life, you've lived a lot of contrast, you've been asking and asking and asking. And we're not kidding with you, and you're not kidding with us either, when you say you want to claim this fortune you put there. We are all in complete agreement on that. The only thing we are not yet in agreement on is that we know it is yours and we know you can have access to it, and you don't know that yet because you haven't practiced enough to know. Because you are still the human being that you are letting the manifested evidence be the criteria that makes you believe. We are letting what is in your vortex be the criteria that makes us believe, see? Oh, I believe. I know there is a gap, and somewhere in the middle of that gap is what I seek. Precisely. So, this is the practice. This is a good dialogue. I believe it's there. I believe there is a gap in my expectation. I believe I can close the gap in my expectation. I believe my emotions are the key to closing the gap in my expectation. I believe that hoping is in the vicinity of the vortex. I believe that believing is inside the vortex. I believe that knowing is in the vortex in a chronic and consistent enough way. I believe I have access to this money. I believe this money is there for me. I believe there is a path to it that will be an easy path for me. I believe the path is through the vortex. I believe the path is through my emotions. I believe the path is through alignment with source energy, which is truly the largest part of me. I believe my emotions tell me the truth. I believe that when I am frustrated, I am not there. I believe that when I hope, I am closer. I believe that when I am happy, I am there. I believe that when I appreciate, I am there. I believe that when I make peace with what is, I am there. I believe that when I appreciate the process of my life that made me put this solution there, I am there. I love every struggle I've lived, because that was the fuel that put it there. I believe the well-being I lived, and the well-being that didn't feel so much like well-being, put it there for me. I know I am the creator of my own reality. I know these things are true. I know I will be able to live the manifested version of all this. I believe I can live the manifested version of it. I think there is evidence all over this planet of people who were exactly where I am in terms of finances, who had a vortex exactly like mine, which was all lined up for them, and they simply found the way in. And I don't have to find the identical way. I don't have to run around and look for people and say, "How did you get your money?" Because it's different for each of us. But one thing is a common denominator about anyone who succeeded in anything they were seeking. They found a way to be a vibrational match for what they were asking for. And that's all I have to do. That's the peace I'm looking for. When you come back from a moment of rest, we'll talk more about this, because there is an active vibration in the room. Everyone is wanting to figure out how to find a vibration of more abundance, and we want to show you how the abundance you put in your vortex, speaking of jackpots. If you could see the true fortune you have gathered and that is vibrationally lined up for you, to which you have immediate access, but it's not through action, it's through the emotional journey. And once you train yourself in vibrational alignment with the energy of your vortex, until it feels more normal to expect good things than to expect bad things, until it feels more normal to feel prosperous than to feel lack, you have to practice the feeling of normalcy. And the tricky thing is, how can I feel something for which I have no evidence to support? And that will really be the subject of the discussion this afternoon. How can I train my vibration apart from the reality I am observing, to be in conformity with the reality I have created? That is deliberate creation at its best. It's a good time for a lunch break, if you wish. This can happen when you get out of the way.